Everybody, and welcome to another edition of 50 Shades. God damn it, get sweaty. It's too early. I already ruined it. I am your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by Ben Big Fudge Rainer and 50 Shades of Monster. How are you guys doing? Please let me stop talking.
I'm doing good.
Your blunder was so good, you completely missed my intro.
Yeah, no, I knew where you were going. I think that's why I screwed up because I was looking at you. I knew what you were doing. It was like, God damn it. If you can't.
Also, can I just say,
Yes.
good on anybody who's ever had to play Dracula, because as I just found out right just now, doing this ain't that easy.
No,
apparently,
you need strong core muscles to do that.
especially if you're crossing your arms like this. So, yeah.
Hey, from
Hey,
down under
Jess.
New Zealand.
Hey, Jess.
And hey to our other Canadian.
Yeah. So, Canada.
Oh, cool. Where'd you get that from? Is that a Pokemon?
Kind of.
Uh,
It's a Pokemon.
oh, what?
It's a fake Pokemon from a guy called Loxton who made a fake Pokemon, which he's now calling Tofrog, and it's got a maple leaf on it.
Very nice.
Nice.
So, we are here because it is Halloween season to discuss our top 5 favorite movie monsters. Now, this should be interesting because we didn't really set the parameters for this. So, I'm curious to see just to see what everybody came up with and see if we have any crossover. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some with the iconic ones, but I'm curious to see what else has made the list.
Mine is going to be very basic. I'll say that.
You don't really watch a lot of monster movies?
No, it's just I have a very specific definition as to what I would consider a monster. Like, there are no aliens on my list, and there are no humans who did monstrous things on my list.
Oh. See, all mine became monsters after the fact, except for one.
Okay. Why don't we get
What about you, Ben? Like, what kind of give us an idea of what your list is?
some basic, some movies, some interesting ones. I can't wait to get into it.
Mm-hmm. No, this is gonna be a great list because some of these characters are some of my favorite characters to talk about.
And I don't know if you said, but this is my topic.
That is correct. Now, what? Actually, no. I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. Jaws is not on my list. The only reason I'm wearing it is because the only monster shirt I have.
Hey, Taco.
Sup, my dude?
Attack of the Killer Tacos.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to pay me back for last night.
Oh, no.
Yep. But no, Ben. So,
but
what?
You know, if he does, it's gonna be some fucking Italian gobbledygook.
Oh,
I'm not gonna play it. I just want to make sure I have it in case, and I do. Okay. No. What I meant to ask was, Ben, how did you think of this list? Because this, I don't know, it's just me knowing you. It doesn't seem like one you would think of right off the bat. Is it because of what time of the year we're in?
Time of the year, and I've been watching a lot of the old classic Universal Monster movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, why not? Why not do something a little spooky?
Yes, he is.
Oh, God.
And I promise I will try to rein back the swearing, you fucker.
Oh, I get no fuck going.
Okay, so since it is your list, Ben, you get to start.
Okay, my number 5 is from the James Gunn horror comedy thriller, The Long One.
That's a comedy? I've yet to watch the movie.
It's
James Gunn, so
that's true.
It's assumable.
It's like a B horror movie comedy, yeah.
That's cool.
Alien possession. There's 3 types of horror in it. Alien possession, monster movie, and one other kind. Slasher. And then, and
So
then
basically, right up my alley.
What?
Right up my alley.
Oh, you got this in this movie. Nathan Fillion is a main actor in this,
Oh,
and
cool.
Elizabeth Banks is.
I dare you. Could you
Why
keep it
the
up?
double
fuck
dare you.
not? Why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's
Let's
never too
get
early to
this
fucking
thing
swear,
fucking
is it,
going.
Taco?
Say fuck again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker.
Fuck, fuckity, fuck.
It reminds me of the Fox song from Harloff back in the day. Yeah, fuck, 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 fuck.
Yeah, you're.
Anyway, let's get the fuck going. Yeah, I know. This monster is creepy, it's oozy, and all the best kind of scenes you could want in a newer monster movie. It's
Right
great.
on. Okay, so that's going to be going on my list to watch right now.
Right. So what's your number 5, Soda?
Okay, so I'm going to bring tacos up. I like this. The Graboids from Tremors. Those are great. That's a great movie. The first one, so great.
I haven't seen it.
I would. It's not like it's not a gory movie. It's more like the Graboids that just grab people and bring them down. That's really all it is. It's a movie
Okay.
about survival. So it's easily digestible. Great movie. Kevin Bacon's amazing in it. Reba McEntire's amazing in it. It's just a whole. I'd recommend it.
No.
And
So
apparently,
Sorry?
apparently, Paige Fabretti really likes that movie.
Oh, it's
If
a
you
great
watch the
film.
Alien game.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so my number 5 is the one that I said you wouldn't think of, but be like, it's Imhotep from the 1999 Mummy.
I did actually consider him.
Okay,
Interesting.
I love this movie to pieces. It's my favorite action adventure, and Imhotep is an intimidating villain because he uses the surroundings of what he has, and some of the stuff he comes up with is just genius, and he's relentless, and he can like rain plagues on you. Yeah, it's just he is. When you think of a monster, he's a prime candidate of what a monster is.
Yeah. And it's also a reboot of the original classic monster of the same name.
Yeah,
Imhotep, the
by
mummy.
Boris Karloff, which Ben watched, and it's funny. It's practically the same script as Dracula.
Yeah,
And isn't it also Boris Karloff? No, that's Frankenstein. Sorry,
Yeah,
my
but
bad.
it is Boris Karloff, but also I can't remember the actor's name right now, but the guy who played Van Helsing in Dracula plays a Van Helsing type character in The Mummy.
It's interesting. I went into the original Mummy expecting one thing, and I got something completely different.
It's not your it's the thing about those Universal monster movies is when you watch them, I guess because we're so used to all the monsters that have come since, they're rather tame.
Well, it's not even that. I mean, I wanted the
And I don't
Mummy.
mean in a bad way. I don't mean in a bad way.
No, I really wanted the Mummy, like, bad and stuff, and we didn't get that in the original Mummy.
When you hear how long it took them to put Boris Karloff in the bandages for the first scene, you'll understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a process.
I'm really surprised because the Mummy is such an iconic character. You would think his origin movie, he would be in it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You would see him as the Mummy. But what I like is when they did. Okay, we're going to talk about the 1933 Mummy here for a moment. What I like is when they had Ardith Bay, which is the Boris Karloff in the future's character's name, which we get in this one as the head of the Magi. I like how they kept that in. No, they made him look like, so even though he's not wearing bandages, they made his skin so old and leathery, it felt like he was wearing bandages. So they still gave that impression, even if you didn't see it, because it took fucking hours upon hours to put him in there. They did him head to toe.
Costuming and prosthetics takes time, kids.
If you can, I highly recommend going and watching of the making of that movie Mummy, because it sounds like it was a task and a half.
All right.
Hi, 50s mom.
Are you my mummy?
And Ryan says the Rancor from Star Wars is on his top 5. Now that's a pretty good villain.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I did say no aliens on my list, but that's a really good one. It's an out of the box one.
All right, since it is now your turn, what is your number 5, 50?
Okay, my number 5, like I said, I'm going to be very, very basic on this list. And, well, my number 5 is about as basic as you can get. Werewolves.
Oh, you're not going for one particular person. You're going for like groups.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I like your
Yeah.
approach. I really do.
No particular werewolf specifically, just the idea
Okay.
of werewolves in general. And obviously, if I had to pick one, I guess I'd go with Remus Lupin from Harry Potter, even though he's not really a bad guy.
No.
If anything, it's Fenrir Greyback who's the bad guy in that situation because he's the guy that bit him. Yeah, long story. But yeah, werewolves as a monster archetype is so ingrained in our pop culture.
Remember, 50. They're werewolves, not swearwolves.
Werewolves, not swearwolves.
I
Yeah,
fucking love that movie.
that's a movie I gotta watch again.
Me too. Me too.
Werewolf.
They're a wolf.
Werewolf.
Werewolf. I want you. I want to know how you were talking.
Continue on werewolves.
Yeah, werewolves. Now, you guys are gonna have to correct me on this. Is there a difference between a werewolf and a wolfman?
No.
I think there is the minimum because the wolfman comes up on my list.
Yeah. Speaking of kiwis, by the way.
It's hard to tell because I mean, like, if you look at legends, like there's different types. There's skinwalkers or lycanthropes, but I think in movies, I think they're pretty much one and the same. It's just the Wolfman was just used as a title, and that's just how we know them as.
Okay.
Where I think werewolves is like the umbrella name. The Wolfman is that particular one.
Okay.
Okay.
But I mean, it makes sense because movies always try to take these complicated concepts and just simplify them, put them all under one roof. So, yeah, it would make sense. Well, so what would be your favorite werewolf if you were to expand this conversation a little bit? And you can include wolfmen and lichens into that conversation if you feel like it.
So any werewolf?
Yeah.
Scott, played by Michael J. Wolf in Teen Wolf. I'm not gonna lie.
You mean
That's
Michael
so
J.
much
Fox?
fun. Yeah, Michael
You
J.
mean Michael-
Fox.
You hear Michael J. Wolf?
I wasn't gonna tell him.
I need help, folks. I need help.
It's not in here.
Woo! I just noticed your name, 50.
Thank you. Finally.
Oh, dear God. I'm sorry. I meant Michael J. Fox. Yes. Tina. God damn it. We do the show.
No,
too early in the
Fox,
morning.
wolf, same
Yeah.
family.
They're both animals. No,
Yeah.
I would go.
And they both hate cats.
I would
of any
go that
kind.
one over. Well, okay, but you know what? It's hard to argue against Lon Chaney Jr. It really is because he's
As
the
the
only
Wolfman.
he's the only one out of all the Universal monsters to play the same character in every movie. He's the only one.
Really?
Yeah. In the
Hey,
Wolfman, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. He was also in House of Dracula and House of Frankenstein as well. And my personal favorite performance of his is in Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, but that's because I adore that movie to pieces. So you know what? I would change it from Michael J. Fox to him, but I love Scott. And
Because at least you can say his name right?
shut up.
You know what? Oh, man.
Thank you.
I'm fucking sad. I think Michael fucking J. Fox.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I got a private message from a friend of the show saying you were on fire today, Ben.
Fuck yeah, I am.
It's the
There you
jack-o'-lantern
go.
behind his head.
Yeah. Okay, so Ben, back to you for your number 4.
The Butterfly from The Fly.
Still haven't watched that movie, but that fucking thing gives me nightmares.
It's not a typical monster movie. There's hardly any kills in it, actually. It's about a man who slowly turns into a fly. And the end product is remember at that time, it was all practical. It was incredible effect.
I just want to interject in that, yes, Taco, that is the best werewolf transformation ever done in film, and it was done on screen. Hands down.
I agree.
Now, is Sloth from the Goonies considered a monster in your opinions? Like, obviously, he's got the physical embodiment of what you would consider a monster, but I mean, because he's so innocent and pure at heart.
I would say no because of the criteria I gave to myself. Like, werewolves is a man that becomes a monster. Sloth is just heavily deformed. So
Yeah. It's like what?
it's the same reason. It's the same reason I don't have the Elephant Man on my list.
Because that's a different type of monster, and I fucking love. It's my favorite David Lynch film.
One is that
Hashtag David Fincher.
was that character named in the movie Mask?
See, that's also you're talking the Eric Stoltz movie Mask. That's also a physical abnormality. So it's similar to
I know. I really go to that. I wouldn't call him a monster.
No, for sure. Yeah. Basically,
I'm putting Sloth
by
in
that
category. I'm putting Sloth in that.
Can we all agree that The Goonies is one of the best movies ever?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys! Hey, you guys!
But going back to that earlier point, would you consider Two-Face from The Dark Knight a monster? No, because he's just half his face burned. That's not
a monster. Like, the way I look at what a definition of a monster in this sense is, they have to have at some point or another done something horrible.
To me, that's just horrible. That's just a horrible person. Yeah. I don't consider it a monster.
No, Joker's more a monster.
I mean, by that definition, the number one should be Hitler.
Touche.
Because he is a monster.
I'll give you a good movie monster who is not on my list. Hopefully, it's not on either of your list. Hannibal Lecter.
That is a definition of a monster, because that's a different type of monster.
It's a cannibal.
It's a monster, and it's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
In a lamb's clothing.
Yeah, and the thing is, this agreed. The thing is one of the scariest monsters you'll ever see on screen.
I tried to see that movie.
You want to do a watch along one day?
Yeah, let's do it.
I love it. I love that movie to pieces.
Okay, so
are we still on Ben's?
Yeah.
But yeah, Rocky Dennis, played by Eric Stoltz in the movie, is actually a real person. That is based on a true story.
Yeah. I knew that. Same as the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Elephant Man, as we all know, the three of us are currently doing a Doctor Who rewatch, and we were just now up to a Day of the Doctor featuring the legendary late great John Hurt.
As the Elephant Man.
Yeah, who plays the Elephant Man? Yeah. I just a couple of days ago I listened to his first ever. Well, at least someone's happy. I listened to his first ever Big Finish play as the War Doctor. It's literally called the serial itself is called Only the Monstrous.
Oh,
and at the end, he delivers one of the most badass lines of any Doctor ever, where Cardinal Elistra, who's kind of running the war effort on Gallifrey, asks him, "Where can I find you?" And he says, I'm paraphrasing because I don't exactly remember what he says, but he says something like, he says, where can you find me? In the heart of the battle, where only the monstrous survive, or something like that. I'll look up the exact quote after the show's done, but it's one of the most badass Doctor quotes of all time.
So before we move on to my number 4, I have a little bit of Elephant Man trivia for you. So the movie that we know, that you and me know and love, is actually based off of a stage play from London, from the West End. Do you know who played the Elephant Man on the West End?
I'm going to take a wild guess. David Tennant.
No. Oh, no. This David Tennant was like 10 years old. This is like in the 70s.
Yeah, this is way before that.
Before the movie. The movie came out in 1980. Produced by Mel Brooks, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. Same with The Fly. With the Butterfly. Produced by Mel Brooks.
Nice.
But No, do you have a guess as to who played the elephant?
And
Man
by
on-
the way, Mom, Mel Brooks is still alive. Just saying.
yeah, he is. He better not die.
Oh God,
But-
no! We need to protect Mel Brooks
Yep.
for as long as we can.
For as
Keep
long as
him-
humanly possible.
yeah.
Okay, but take a guess at who played in the 1970s the Elephant Man on the West End.
Gene Wilder.
No. 50,
And
do you have a
I-
guess? You'll never get it.
Uh,
David Bowie.
fuck off.
100% legit.
Get the fuck
David
outta
Bowie
here.
played John Merrick on the West End.
Right.
Also, I should probably point out his name is actually Joseph Merrick.
I know his name is actually Joseph Merrick, but in the play it's John.
Yeah, they changed it.
They didn't realize
Or-
that. Yeah.
Media.
Okay, so my number 4 is actually the most recent monster on this on my list. It is from 2018. 2018? 2018's or is it 2017? It's from It. Pennywise.
This guy.
Ooh,
This guy.
good one.
He's the only alien on my list. But this is mostly based because the movie really the one scene makes me jump is the projector scene, but this is based on mostly from when I saw it opening night in theater. That theater was terrified of him. Every jump, every scare worked. The screams that filled the theater. This is a guy that knows how to mess with you, and the way he does it is gruesome and just mind altering, and it is so good. I love that It Chapter 1 so much. I really enjoy It Chapter 2 as well, but It Chapter 1, holy shit, it's one of the honestly one of the most scariest movies I've ever seen in my life.
I can't bring myself to watch that movie.
It's one, if you're not into horror movies but you want to watch it, you have to watch it with a group of people. That's how I recommend it. Like me, I can watch it and just not be scared, but
I watched it by myself, but I watched it by myself with the lights on and with the controller in my hand.
yeah.
So it was intense. It's intense. I'm not going to lie.
Fun fact, though, do you know which actor has colorophobia, which is the fear of clowns?
I'm going to Bill Haley.
You had guessed. I think I might know. Go ahead.
It's someone you wouldn't guess it if I tell you.
Okay.
It's like, really, that guy?
Okay. Who do you have, Ben?
I am Bill Haley.
I was gonna say the same thing. Bill Hader.
Johnny Depp.
Really?
I can
Yes.
see that. I can
Cool.
see that.
Wow.
And follow-up question, do you know which fictional character that all three of us know and love also has that phobia?
Okay. I'm
Fictional
going to get
character with a phobia of clowns?
Superman.
No.
Why would it be Superman?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Superman's afraid of everything. Anything.
Batman.
He's afraid of losing the people he loves.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, you know what I mean.
Well, Batman makes sense, but no. Batman is actually afraid of bats, funnily enough.
Yeah, I can't pull it.
The Doctor.
Sarah Jane Smith.
Oh.
Really?
Yes. Because she grew up, she was raised by her aunt, and her aunt had a marionette of a clown in her bedroom. And one very stormy, thunderstormy night, she could have sworn the marionette actually moved. Which later in life turns out it was actually a creature that lives off of fear, and he was actually the original Pied Piper, which is a storyline in and of itself. But yeah, Sarah Jane Smith is afraid of.
I was going to say, knowing Doctor Who, that Snapchat probably did move. And look, like, I was right. All right.
Yeah, it did.
All right. So, 50, what's your number 4, my man?
Speaking of Boris Karloff, Frankenstein's monster.
What?
Very nice.
What?
I didn't put him on my list on either. But doesn't mean I don't have somebody from his universe on my list.
Okay.
On my honorable mentions. Okay.
I can guess
So-
which one, but okay.
Well, yeah. Okay, so what is your number 3, Ben?
Fucking Dracula. Is there
Punt.
any...
Punt!
Wow.
Back and forth.
Hold on a second. I wasn't not expecting it to go this fast. So my number 3 is the one that in real life has scared me the most, has left me traumatized for a number of years as a kid, to the point where I actually have a lifelong fear of dolls like that are similar to this. It's Chucky. I
fucking love it, man. Fucking love it.
Don't get me wrong. I love the movies to pieces. It's one of my horror franchises, but that Chucky, seeing him at age 3 because I have a terrible mother, has left a permanent imprint on me. And like I said, to the point where I am deathly afraid of lifelike dolls and anything that is lifelike, but still, because I do not trust them. But Chucky is great because it's a serial killer who gets his soul put in a doll by voodoo, and he's trying to find a great conduit. And the kills are great. His line quips are funny. He's a great villain because he can hide in plain sight. And he's terrifying as all hell.
So would you say the last place you would ever go to on Earth is a wax museum?
Wax museum and taxidermy. I've been in a taxidermy and I had to leave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just because it's the lifeless look, and because
I get it, man.
You never know when it's gonna turn on you. Like I know it's an irrational fear, but that's how strong this character is. You watched it at 3 years old, apparently, but yeah. Like I said, I have every single movie physical copy, but I refuse to have a piece of memorabilia from anything related to Chucky. I refuse.
Chucky? You don't fuck with that Chuck, no.
You don't fuck with the Chuck or his bride.
Yep.
Didn't you appreciate the episode of Legends of Tomorrow with the serial killer puppet?
Oh God, yeah. I enjoy all that stuff, but when it translates to real life, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. 50. You're number 3.
Hold on.
He's got a prop.
Oh, what does he have?
Hold on, I had it backwards. I did not plan this.
Yes, how's it hanging, Phil? I've got to do a top 5 Chucky kills because that is definitely up there. We were talking about it the other night.
Ooh, I gotta be fucking fun on that, man.
Oh man, that is, yeah. I need to rewatch them.
What? We should do a fucking lunch along with that.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. You ready? Can you guess what this is?
It's the punt from earlier.
It's a coffin. It just happens to have Dracula in it. And as you can see, actually you can't see.
It's not Bela Lugosi, so it doesn't count. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it actually has a hole right here where its heart is supposed to be. You know why?
Oh, cool. I can't see it, but that's cool.
Yeah.
For you
Why
to
put a
put
hole
the
there? Because it's a pencil sharpener.
Oh,
You take a pencil and you stab it into his heart like a wooden stake.
that's
Sharpen the
unique.
pencil. And this is where the pencil shavings come up. This is one of the most creative ideas for pencil sharpeners I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, now you can kind of see the heart, the hole in the heart.
And I love how because it's like it's so small for me, it looks like knapsack. Knapsack with a mustache. Of course, to you it doesn't, but from how I'm seeing it on screen, because I'm not quite seeing it in detail, it looks like it reminded me of knapsack for whatever reason.
Okay, as long as you don't have nightmares about knapsack, I'm all good. But
no,
yeah,
vampires don't scare me.
Do you want to take this, Ben, or should I take it first?
You take it first.
Okay, so Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler, is the original archetypal vampire. Like, he is the OG, obviously. I could have just went and said and had vampires on my list, just like I had general werewolves, just like I have Frankenstein. I could have just Frankenstein's monster. I could have just had zombies on my list, but no, I went straight for the heart, pun intended. The OG, the man himself, Dracula, loosely based on a real person, by the way.
Very loosely, but yeah.
Very loosely, yeah, very, very loosely. But he inspired an entire subgenre of horror. Yep, there's the one.
The Leslie Nielsen Dracula. Yes. One of my favorite underrated Mel Brooks movies. I love that movie to pieces.
And to prove my point, we even got comedy out of this character.
Uh-huh.
He inspired so much. He may or may not have inspired one of the best Doctor Who villains of all time. And I'm not talking about vampires, because yes, there are vampires in Doctor Who. I'm actually talking about the Master. Because if you look at the Master, the way he dresses and his mannerisms, even his ability to hypnotize people by looking at his eyes, that pretty much came from Dracula.
Yeah, but not just Dracula. Like everything we know about Dracula, right down to the cape, to the Widow's Peak, to everything, it's down to one person, Bela Lugosi.
Yep.
He is hands down the most famous Dracula, and every iteration of Dracula that has come after him has paid homage to him in one way or another. We wouldn't. I'm sure Dracula would still be around, but if it wasn't for his performance in 1931's Dracula, we wouldn't probably remember him as fondly or with as much reverence as we would if it wasn't for Bela Lugosi, who only played Dracula twice, surprisingly.
Really?
Shows you how good he did it.
1931's Dracula and 1952's Abbott and Costello Meet Dracula. It's the only two times he's played vampires, but it's the only two times he's played the character Count Dracula.
When is that other one? Or the one? And that has Spanish name. There was
Count Orlok?
No. Nosferatu. That is German.
That's Max Schreck.
Yes.
Not the guy from Batman.
That's what they got the name.
The actual actor.
But fun fact about that movie, Bram Stoker's widow tried to have all copies of Nosferatu destroyed because it was done without her consent. Because basically they took the story of Dracula and they just changed all the characters' names. That's it. And so there was a chance we would never be able to see that iconic movie if Bram Stoker's widow had gone her way. Yeah,
and now
it's Dracula. It's a bastardized version of Dracula.
It's a ripoff. No,
100%.
No pretty way to say it.
It's the best. Am I the only one that's seen it? Nosferatu?
Probably.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's a silent film, so it might be a slog for most people.
I didn't hear about it, and I heard it great. But
some of the creepiest horror images come from that movie, from Count Orlok.
And funnily enough, the character was featured in a SpongeBob episode.
Interesting.
Yes. Yeah, it was a horror-themed episode, and there was a bit of plot line about the lights flickering on and off, and the entire episode, they thought it was the main monster of the episode was doing it. Turns out the monster wasn't doing any of it, the monster. And then we're like, wait, who turned off the lights?
No, I'm not. That's a great monster. And, oh, Jesus, why am I blanking on his name? He's the guy that did American Werewolf in London. I'm a big fan of his work, but I'm forgetting his name right now. Anyways, continue. I'll try to remember his name.
But yeah, right at the end of the episode, we're like, who was turning on the on and off the lights?
Rick Baker.
Thank you again.
Sorry. Go ahead.
And then the lights kept flickering on and off again, and they were looking to the side, and it's Nosferatu standing next to a light switch, and it was like, Nosferatu. Yeah, because the character they just made up scares the shit out of them, but apparently Nosferatu is okay. They're not scared of Nosferatu. And he actually gives a nice smile at the end of the episode.
Actually, I'm going to see if I can Count Orlok, just to show viewers who haven't seen what he looks like.
If you've seen What We Do in the Shadows, that's basically what he looks like. The old guy.
Are you talking about the movie or the show?
The movie. The old guy from the movie.
Hold on, just give me a second. Count Orlok. I mean, like, look at this guy. Like, how could you not be terrified of that?
I
will say, The movie.
That's like
about
Mark
making
Riley
it?
if he decides to shave his head and not
Yeah.
clip his fingernails.
It kind of looks like Uncle Fester from Adam's Family too.
Maybe that's how they got the idea for Fester. Who
Maybe.
knows? But Ben, it's your number 3 or 4, so might as well talk about him too.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? He's the iconic. He's one of the iconic monster. He's so creepy, he made me scared of vampires. The fact that they suck up blood is one of the creepiest things to me. He's a great monster, and I love the mythology behind vampires. Very
He's
interesting.
Very rich.
Yeah.
He's basically the Blackbeard of vampires. He's the vampire that other vampires fear.
And I really love
Okay,
it.
I'm gonna ask this now, even though I know we're gonna talk about this character later. Who do you think is the more famous monster, Dracula or Frankenstein? I'd say Dracula is the most important.
But you're saying scary or iconic?
The best out of the two.
I don't want to hear
Probably Dracula, because Dracula, apart from loosely being based on a real person, he stays a monster.
Yeah.
And he wants to stay a monster.
Yeah, whereas
Frankenstein monster doesn't.
Yeah, where
He's
if you actually go on
misunderstood.
the book, he's trying to get humanity and stuff. And I still say Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, directed by Kenneth Branagh, is a great film. Robert De Niro is an underrated monster.
I want to say my argument because
we'll save your argument then. We'll save your argument.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're on to Ben's number dos then.
Yes,
Peter was the vampire in What We Do in the Shadows that looked like Orlok.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at myself. I could have done something really fun for this number 2. The Invisible Man. This is one of the creepiest things out there. Something you don't even see coming. Something you really can't fight against. Something that has an incredible advantage over you. And one of the cheapest monsters to make.
Yeah. Just take a guy and wrap him up in bandages, and when you need him to actually be monstrous, just film nothing.
Yep.
Definitely a step up from Emotep the Mummy.
Fuck you. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Not the fuck up.
What I was talking, Ben watched The Invisible Man, the Claude Rains one the other night, and I was telling him how they did that effect, and it was actually ingenious because it was before green screen, obviously. What they did was they did the whole plate setup. They filmed the actor, they filmed the background, and then they filmed the actor in front of black velvet. They used black velvet to do the invisible scenes.
Nice.
Yeah.
But going back to Emotep first. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Going back to Emotep for a second, something I was gonna say, but I forgot about. Did you know that I believe in the 1999 movie, not the sequel, he actually speaks Hebrew for a second there?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, because he's talking to it's because of Benny. Benny's pulling out all the different chains, trying to find a common knowledge with the mummy, and then he pulls out the Star of David. And what was it? Imhotep said he's like, the chosen people or something like that.
Language of the slaves.
Yeah, that's what it was. Language of the
slaves. Maybe I can use you. That's what he said.
God, I love that movie so much. I know what I'm watching this afternoon. Okay, so yeah, Ben, your number 2 was Invisible Man. Yes.
Yeah, your number 2.
So my number 2 is he's a guy that haunts your nightmares. He gets you while you're sleeping.
Fuck.
Oh, this guy.
Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
So for years, if you look at the trifecta, the holy trinity of slasher monsters, Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers, for years, my number 1 was Freddy. It wasn't until I got a recent appreciation for something else that changed. But it's just something about dying in your dreams is a scary idea, and then you put onto it this guy who's having fun while he's doing it at your expense. Like all of his kills in the movie, I love watching those kills because they are so genius. Best ones are, in my opinion, as a whole, number 3. The best one being when he cuts the guy's tendons and turns him into a human marionette.
You
Like,
know
this
what?
is the definition of a monster because he's not real. Well, real, but not real.
He's real, but he's not real.
Yeah.
I always say to myself that if Freddy tried to kill me, I would probably survive because my dreams generally tend to be such a massive acid trip that he's going to be like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going to kill a normal person. But you never know.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's responsible for New Line Cinema, basically. New Line Cinema is the house that Freddy built. If it wasn't for Freddy Krueger, we wouldn't have had Lord of the Rings.
He's so scary that even his Simpson counterpart scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I will
Do not touch Willie.
Yeah, I will say, like, out of all the Treehouse of Horrors, that one is easily the most unsettling.
Yeah.
Easily.
And that's saying something.
Yeah, I mean...
Stupid smirch wither!
Yeah.
Great joke. It's a great joke. So yeah, my number 2 is Freddy Aloysius Krueger. Very funny guy. Aloysius is not his real name. I just don't know why I said that.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
All right, 50. What's your number 2? Is this true, 50?
Well, yes. I did dress up as Wolverine for Purim, but because this country is stupid and nobody knows who Wolverine is, there wasn't even a Wolverine costume at the time, and so the closest thing I could find to the claws was actually Freddy Krueger's gloves before I even knew who Freddy Krueger was, and then people just assumed I was Freddy Krueger, even though I was very clearly Wolverine with the jeans and the jacket and the spiky hair and without the disfigured face and the fedora and the striped shirt. So people just saw the gloves and they were like, oh, that's Freddy Krueger. Fuck you.
Okay, so who's your number 2?
To be fair though, a couple years ago I did dress up as the Green Arrow, and people just assumed I was a Ninja Turtle. So like I said, people are stupid sometimes.
Ninja, I would accept.
But the Ninja Turtle.
Okay, so who's your number 2 for 50?
Oh, King Kong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn right.
The King of the Kongs.
Nice.
Great choice.
I mean, that guy's just that guy just wants. I mean, that guy was just chilling on his island, being the king of his own world, and then stupid humans showed up and brought him to New York City, of all places. And he's somehow labeled a monster.
Well, he's labeled a monster because he's misunderstood.
Yeah, just like Frankenstein, which we still haven't gotten a chance to talk about. But
he is.
I think he predates most of the monsters on our list, movie-wise, that is, not lore-wise, but movie-wise, he pretty much predates all the monsters on our list. It was like 1935 or something like that.
He predates all but Dracula and Frankenstein.
Yeah. So, and the fact that they're still making King Kong movies today, or rather movies that feature King Kong today, shows, just like all the other ones on my specific list, how much of a lasting impact a character like that had. And also, he's fighting dinosaurs in both the 1935 version.
Breaking news. They released the Black Adam trailer 20 minutes ago.
Fuck.
So I know what I'm watching afterwards. Sorry, 50, continue. I had to say that. I had to get that out there.
Also, they apparently last night, they also released an official trailer for Doctor Who Series 13.
They did.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So just
sorry about butting in on you again, 50. I just saw that. I was like, holy shit, that's big.
yeah. We got some stuff to do after the show, but
Yep.
yeah, King Kong is a giant ape. It's not gonna overshadow the announcement that just happened, but
Sorry.
I mean, no, it's okay. It's okay. King Kong basically speaks for himself. But
Yeah.
I was going to say that he does fight dinosaurs in the movie. I specifically chose not to have any of the dinosaurs from the Jurassic Park franchise because, again, I don't consider them as monsters because they are living creatures that lived in the world. Maybe the Indominus Rex or the Indoraptor, but I don't consider dinosaurs as monsters. They were actual living beings. Same reason I don't consider Bruce the shark from Jaws as a monster. It's an actual animal. It's not something unnatural like King Kong, which is a myth in and of itself.
So here's a fun fact. You know how big of a fan Peter Jackson is? Not just the fact that he remade the movie, but he actually has the original animatronic, not from King Kong, unfortunately, but from Son of Kong. He has the original animatronic. Unfortunately, it's just a skeleton now, but it's so cool to see. It's about that big.
Not surprised at all.
Yeah. He's got a second. He's got a whole area dedicated to all this stuff because he's a massive nerd like we are.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's always great when fans of these projects get to actually be involved in them. Like, as we mentioned earlier, Tennant with Doctor Who and other people.
Yeah.
Okay, so the honorable mention portion of the show. So, Ben, if you have any honorable mentions now, speak now and forever hold your peace.
I have 3. I have the Wolfman,
Okay.
Edgar from Men in Black,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
and Johnny Long's character in Tusk.
Oh, the Walrus.
The
Walrus,
Walrus.
yes. That is a fucked up movie.
Did you see it?
Of course I've seen it. I love that movie because at that time I was so invested in all of Kevin Smith's stuff that all of the Easter eggs he was throwing from the stuff he does in real life, like it was cheering every time. But Justin Long in that movie is a very sympathetic character. You can't help but feel bad for him because Michael Parks turned him into a freaking walrus.
Yeah.
Don't you just hate when friends do that to each other?
Yeah, no kidding, eh? Yeah, you're right, Jess. The Nightmare. Yeah. And fun fact, made by Robert Kirkman.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, your
so
honorable mention.
Mine. Bruce from Jaws. Michael Myers is on my honorable mention list because I love the kills, but I don't think the movies are out of the 3. I think the movies are the weakest. The Candyman. I've only seen the original Candyman. I haven't seen the remake.
Not from Doctor Who.
No, not that Candyman. Although that's frightening for another reason because that kind of would put me on a path to very bad case of diabetes. No, this is the Tony Todd Candyman from the first one. Such a great villain, sympathetic villain, and of course, this is the only Universal monster on my list, but it's because of you don't see her for long, but when she does appear, she makes an impact. It's the Bride of Frankenstein, my favorite Universal monster movie.
You're honorable mention, my man.
Okay, so Emotep, Invisible Man, and basically all the monsters from Monsters vs. Aliens, which were obviously inspired by The Fly, The Blob, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the 50-Foot Woman. Have you seen Monsters vs. Aliens?
No.
When it came out.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah,
for some reason it gets a lot of crap recently, but it's a fun movie.
That's the one with Seth Rogen as the Blob, right?
Think so.
Yeah. All right.
You're number 1, my friend.
You know him. He's iconic. He's probably the most iconic. You know him. Frankenstein's monster.
I have a copy of the final shooting script.
Nice.
Wow.
And I know it's the final shooting script because it includes a scene that was not in the original filming script. It was added day of.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this guy is so scary yet, like you said, misunderstood. I would say he's more iconic because it teaches you a good lesson in life. Then you can say then. But then won't want to come back to life.
No.
You
And
won't let me
you-
live. You won't let me die.
So this is the very first monster. Because Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was written before Dracula. And I have a feeling if it wasn't for Frankenstein and for that infamous night in the thunderstorm that you see depicted in Bride of Frankenstein, we wouldn't have monsters like we see them now.
It's also a Doctor Who episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Like,
which we will get to cover in our rewatch, in our recap.
Yes.
And I'll leave it
Okay.
up to you to guess who the inspiration for the monster was.
I can either say Boris Karloff or Peter Boyle.
No, in that episode.
What doctor?
No, which monster from Doctor Who inspired the idea of Frankenstein?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, fair point. For Cybermen.
Also, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. I'm looking it up right now. I think Mary Shelley was at one point a companion of the Eighth Doctor in Big Finish. And that's where she, in Doctor Who universe, she got the idea to write Frankenstein. In the Big Finish side, but in the TV side, she got it from that episode.
Now, hold on, you said Peter Boyle.
Yeah.
One of the best Mel Brooks movies. Look at that. He's so great as a monster.
Yeah. And he at that time he wasn't known for that type of role. Is he your favorite Frankenstein?
Yeah.
It's hard because you've got Boris Karloff. I've seen all of his Frankenstein stuff. I've seen all of Glenn Strange's Frankenstein movies. Hell, I've even seen Lon Chaney and Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi in the makeup. For me, it's got to be Bela Lugosi, not Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff. For me, is my favorite Frankenstein. But Peter Boyle's, man, it's like the Tennant Matt Smith thing for me. It's like right there.
Okay, my search ended up fruitless. But
I mean, okay, look at that.
So
this guy, I mean, just looking at him, he screams iconic movie monster. Am I right?
Oh yeah. So I've watched the making ofs on Frankenstein so many times in my life. So that little gaunt thing that you see in there, like it looks like his cheek is swollen, is because Boris Karloff took out his bridge to make him look more cadaverous.
Ooh.
I mean,
Yeah, and this makeup was designed specifically for Boris Karloff's face. Jack Pierce, who did the makeup, was sitting in where they had their lunches, and he saw Boris Karloff walk up dressed up in his like Sunday best because he was a proper English gentleman, liked his teen stuff like that. And he said he felt kind of offended that he's dressed his best. And the first thing that Jack Pierce says, "You would make a good monster." That's also why, like, every subsequent Frankenstein afterwards looks a little off, is because they're wearing the makeup design for Boris Karloff's head.
Oh,
yeah.
And let's be honest, he did inspire looks in Addams Family.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
The Addams Family in and of themselves are a collection of inspirations from various different stuff.
Personally, I prefer the monsters, but that's just me.
I can't say I've watched a lot of the monsters to give a definitive. Like, I've seen the monsters.
So, a couple weeks ago, I mentioned the movie Victor Frankenstein.
Yep.
Did I even watch that one?
I never finished it, but I did enjoy it from what I saw.
Yeah, because obviously people get the whole thing wrong, where it's not actually Frankenstein the monster. The monster is just the monster. Frankenstein is the doctor.
Well,
However,
that brings up an interesting debate, though. They creating Frankenstein, and they creating the monster, make Frankenstein a monster in itself.
Yep.
I was gonna bring that up. I mean, he is a mad scientist. The guy is just, wanted to stay dead, and he brought him back to life. Technically speaking, it's the doctor who is the monster, and the Frankenstein's monster is just a misunderstood guy who now just wants to exist.
It's basically a reversal on roles, because like the Victor Frankenstein is like what you would expect of a gentleman of the era. He's charming, he's dapper and all that stuff, but really he's a monster on the inside. Whereas you juxtapose that with Adam, which is the name of the Frankenstein monster. When you juxtapose with that, he's a monster on the outside, but he's a kind soul on the inside.
You know what it's kind of like? Think about this. It's kind of like Beauty and the Beast.
Yep, I was going to say that, because even the Beast is named Adam in the movie.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect metaphor, because you've got that with Gaston, who is what every girl wants. He's handsome. He can lift up everything. Smart. Right? He's what you would think would be an ideal person, but on the inside, he's the beast. Whereas Adam, on the outside, he's the beast, but on the inside, he's misunderstood, and he's sympathetic, and he is a kind soul.
It's funny, he didn't look like an Adam to me.
How would you describe an Adam?
That's from the original book. The reason why it was named Adam, the biblical story of the Garden of Eden.
Adam
the first man.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
You can tell I know a little too much about this stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, I mean, you have this.
20s where I would sit down, because I have all the Universal monster movies, every one of them in the sets. So I've devoured the documentaries. So I know all this stuff. American Gothic, or Hollywood Gothic, is one of my favorite books to read. It's about the history of getting Dracula to the big screen. Great book. Been written by David J. Scull, if anybody's ever interested in it.
Nice. So,
did either of you guys watch the movie Frankenweenie, the animated version?
And was asking about that the other day. Yeah.
It's on my list.
I saw it when it was in theaters. That's the only time I've seen it.
I saw it a couple of years ago, but it's a good one.
Yeah. Based off of a Tim Burton short that he did to, if I'm not mistaken, to try to get into Pixar. That's what it was. So it's a concept.
I think it predated No, actually, it might have been Pixar at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from that time.
And from what I understood, Disney kind of really screwed him over with that. Yeah, Gaston is a pig.
Yep.
Disney really screwed him over with that short, but years later, when he actually got to work with Disney, he got one over on them by actually making that film.
True. Okay, so my number one, is the one that took Freddy's place. As I got older and I started watching more of the movie series, when I got older, I realized this is actually the best one of the triumvirate of 80s slasher monsters. It is none other than Jason motherfucking Voorhees. I am a huge Jason fan. Again, don't even think about getting unless it's the Jason Takes Manhattan movie poster, no memorabilia in my house. But this is a force of nature. He starts off as a man and slowly, as the movies progress, becomes a literal monster, to the point where in the final few of the original series, he is a zombie, basically.
Okay, when you say the original Friday the 13th, that's not a Jason movie. So what is a first Jason movie?
Part 2. Literally the next movie. But we won't see. But with that one, we'd see Jason in the burlap sack with the one eye hole. It's not until the third one where he gets the mask.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, Jason is one of the most iconic for a reason. Like, his kills in the movies are legendary. Like, he grabs a sleeping bag with a person and he swings it like a freaking baseball bat against the tree and kills them. He's macheted people in half. He's ripped off their heads. The goofiest one was when he punched off the dude's head. Like, literally uppercut, and the dude's head went into a dumpster.
As heads tend to do.
Yeah.
So, is he a man or is he a monster? monster.
Oh, he's a monster. There is no redeeming qualities about
He's a
Jason
monster
Voorhees.
of a man.
Basically. Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities. Plus, you see that mask, you know who it is. You could have never seen any of the movies. You know who that mask belongs to.
Hell yeah.
Casey Jones.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. He's a fucking terrifying fucking monster.
And he just doesn't stop. Like, it got to the point where they had to chain him under the lake to get him to stop between movies. And this is pretty cool. So, I got to bring it up. So there is in the United States, in a lake in Minnesota, if I can find it still, did I get rid of it? Please. Oh, there it is. There is a Jason Voorhees statue at the bottom of the lake of him chained. That is a legit statue.
God, that's fucking creepy as hell.
Yes. That's one I was like, that's how ingrained in pop culture Jason Voorhees is. Somebody put a statue of him at the bottom of a lake.
No, thank you. I always take the fuck out of that thing.
I agree, but gotta love Jason. The movies are goofy shit, but I will say, if you're gonna watch one of them, the best one, Jason Lives.
Nice.
It's the one with Horseshack in the beginning from Welcome Back, Kotter.
You know what that reminds me of? Hold on, give me just a second. This has the potential to maybe blow your mind a little bit. There was an actual Dalek casing found inside a pond.
I'd read about this. Years when it happened. Yeah, I can't remember the story behind it though.
You know what I think happened? So in the Dalek's very second ever appearance on the show, the Dalek Invasion of Earth, the first part of that serial ends with a Dalek literally rolling out of the Thames. And that's the cliffhanger that ends the episode. And that's where you know that it's been the Daleks who've been controlling Earth this entire time. Mm-hmm. I think it was just a leftover from the production crew that they just forgot after the shooting was done.
Yeah,
and they found it decades later.
It could either be I'm just quickly reading an article on the Daily Mail about it, and they said it could either be from John Pertwee's era because he filmed a few Doctor Who episodes there, but also it could be from Colin Baker's because he passed. They did some pass through the area too as well.
So that's not what I was thinking of, but okay. Although the design of the Dalek would suggest a later era of Daleks than what I was thinking. So, okay.
Okay, so what is... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, why him fucking number 150? Fuck, yeah, I know that sound.
I don't. What is it?
I'm going to play it again, and you better remember this time.
Is that the T-Rex from Jurassic Park?
No, motherfucker. It's the king of the monsters,
Godzilla. Gotcha.
It's the fucking king.
I'm just going to put this up front. I've only ever seen 2 Godzilla movies. 1998, because I love it, and the most recent 2014. Those are the only 2 movies I've seen of him.
Okay, so you only have 35 left to go. It shows you why he's the fucking king. Godzilla has the most movies out of any movie franchise in the world. And that includes James Bond. Uh-huh. That includes the MCU. Godzilla is the king of movie monsters. And yes, Mom, it's a king because Godzilla is male. We have this discussion all the time. But yeah, Godzilla is the king of the monsters for a reason. And if you watch the movie titled Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out in 2019, I think, you know why he's the king of the monsters.
Yeah, I know I have to rectify that. It's just for some reason the whole kaiju thing has never really been one that's like I gotta watch. Like I've seen that. I loved Colossus. Obviously I grew up on the Power Rangers. Hell, I have the Megazord behind me. But I don't know. It's just something about them. It's just never really piqued my interest. But it's their ones I know I should watch. I just haven't. But I will say I absolutely love the 1998 Godzilla because of how bad it is.
Yeah, 50.
I can. Sorry, 50, but mine's bigger.
Boys and their toys.
Yeah, okay, I have to ask. If one of you put them out, I have to ask. Who is your favorite Ranger?
It's Tommy.
Yeah. 50?
Depends on the era.
Mighty
Because
Morphin.
from Mighty Morphin, I guess by default I gotta say Tommy because he's definitively the best.
Yeah, and
But that's not the era I watched the most as a kid.
Yeah, and he's the one that's been in the most incarnations of the Power Rangers too.
Yeah. What era did you watch the most? I'm just curious now.
For me, it was the very early when it came out. I stopped watching after the movie had come out because I just got older.
The one that was on circulation on TV all the time, and when I was watching it, was a subsection of Power Rangers that nobody really seems to talk about, which is Time Force.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Anyone remember Time Force? That I mean, that's my Power Rangers.
That's after my time because I'm 10 years older than you, I think.
Something like that. I believe it's like 2001.
Yeah.
That era of Power Rangers, which also featured a second. Well, actually, I think it has like 3 Red Rangers in that one.
No, you're right. 3.
Yeah, if you actually count the police officer guy, the Q Ranger or whatever the hell his name is, who actually has a dinosaur as his Zord, not a Zord, but an actual freaking mechanic dinosaur named Q-Rex.
Yep. Quantum,
which is very Godzilla-ish. See how I bring it back around?
Yeah. Oh god. It's a circle.
It's a what?
It's a what?
Circle.
It's a circle of life, potentially.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Now you're just making these too easy for me.
Okay, so before we end the show, a friend of ours who's in the chat, who was hoping to be on today, but unfortunately wasn't able to wake up in time, has sent me her list. So this is Jess' list, who you might have seen on the All Night Taco Stand. She was on with us on 109 Canada last night. She's done a few shows. So this is her list. So at number 5, she has the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yay.
Nice. I like that.
Now, number 4 and her number 3.
Are you a god?
I'm unfortunately blanking on what they are. But the Demogorgon.
No,
Stranger Things.
Thank you.
But again, it's a TV thing. It's not a movie thing. But okay.
This is her list. You shut up.
Okay.
Number 3 is the Pale Man.
No idea. I'm not sure.
Okay. This is the one that made me pop real hard, what you told me. Audrey 2 from the Little Shop of Horrors.
Nice. That counts.
Yeah.
Feed me, Seymour.
And her number 1 from her favorite movie, it is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
See, I was considering Stitch, but again, I said to myself, no aliens. If I hadn't, he would have been my number 2 at least.
I don't know if he counts. I mean, he didn't try to hurt anybody.
He's a monster.
Okay. I only seen that movie once.
No, yeah, I've only seen it once, but I do remember like he's a vicious little son of a bitch at the beginning who slowly becomes more nice.
Okay. I only seen it.
I mean, that was the original intention. He was created specifically
Pan's
to
Labyrinth.
be a monster.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's where the Pale Man's from, Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, and I may have cussed you out, but 50. She says you're the best.
Aww.
Okay, folks, that brings an end to our top 5 movie monsters list. This has actually been a very fun episode because it's very rare that I really get to geek out like this, and boy, did I ever today.
Yeah, there's probably one.
And it's a rare one that I didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Maybe next week. Maybe next week.
Yeah,
Maybe.
horror ain't my thing, guys. Come on, leave me alone. What do you want from me?
And see, like, because this is what happened with me, because I had the fear of Chucky growing up. When I finally started to dip my toe back into horror, what I did was I went and devoured every making of I could. And so that's how I learned this stuff, and that's how it actually desensitized me enough to be able to watch horror movies, because I knew how they made them.
Okay, so you want to hear something funny? You know, I mentioned that I started listening to all the Doctor Who Big Finish stuff, specifically featuring the War Doctor.
Yeah,
obviously Nicholas Briggs does the voice of the Daleks in those ones, and I did something that I probably shouldn't have done. I was listening to them at work because I had a lot of free time at work lately, and every time a Dalek started speaking, I was like, I was listening to them with headphones, and I was sitting there next to Exterminate, and every time a Dalek started speaking, I was like, and people are looking at me like, are you listening to a horror movie, horror book? Well, what's with you? So yeah, that's my horror, Doctor Who, peppered in with some funny stuff, because why not?
I mean, if we're taking TV into consideration, yeah, the Dialects are monsters.
Yeah.
I want to get them
Inside and Out. And we could also throw in the Silence in there.
In any other direction.
Yeah, no, the Silencers would be mine for me.
I'm trying to think about
just because
the Angels.
The Angels.
I mean, we can even make a list. We can make an entire list just of Doctor Who monsters. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and knowing us would be another 4 hours.
With Jess, because why not?
Yeah. All right.
All right, does anyone else have anything else to add to this before we sign off?
No, I mean,
no. Who's? It's your turn.
It is, but I'm going to reserve.
Oh yeah,
saying it until we get confirmation on next week.
Yeah.
So
we might have a special guest. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so I'm going to hold off mine, and plus I can't remember what it was I wanted to do, so I need to think about it. Okay. So 50 Shades of Monsters. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek, reacting to the Black Adam trailer and the Doctor Who trailer. And you can also find me occasionally on Twitch, 50 Shades of Geek. Sorry. You can find me every week with these wonderful gentlemen recapping the greatest show in the galaxy, Doctor Who, along with Jess, who was in the comments. You can find me occasionally. I pop into Mount Schmodown and various other shows. I'm going to be on Let's Talk About Star Wars tonight, so that's going to be fun for me. Yeah. And you can also find me on my own Patreon, patreon.com/Pokemon Star Crossing Crescent, where I design a Pokemon game based on Israel.
Nice. And Ben, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Mount Schmodown, and then in 2 hours, very big day today. We have the one, the only video trailer guest starring, and we're debuting a new cohort, so very excited for today.
I still haven't met this co-host, so I'm actually very excited to see who it is. None of us have met her.
Yep, I found her, and yeah, I'm very excited to make her. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Why not? Like 50 said, you can find me all over the channel recapping, shooting the breeze. Liz, anything else?
You got Mount Schmodown, you got Shooting the Breeze, you got Recapping. You are usually on the Sunday edition of Schmodown Night Canada, which we're not having this week.
Right. Yeah, I think I got everything. How about you, Matt?
So you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on every show on this channel. Last night I was not on Schmodown Night Canada, but you can bet your ass I was in the comments trolling the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. Oh, you were the one. You were the one.
I was the one.
It was you.
And also, you can also find me tonight producing Let's Talk About Star Wars, our Star Wars show on the channel. Tonight we're bringing back the Star Wars or Not game, but instead of aliens, we're doing planets. So definitely check out that. So it's going to be 50 is on, Ryan Payne from Mount Schmodown is on, Jess is on. There is one more who, unfortunately, I'm forgetting right now. I'm so sorry if you're watching this, but definitely check that out. It's going to be a great game. So yeah, that's everything for us here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, like the video. All that stuff definitely helps. We will see you next week on another edition of Get Sweaty. And don't forget, everyone, stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty.